Happy Hump Day. A nice 2-0 sweep to start the playoffs, and we got two more play-in games. Let's talk some basketball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and welcome to day 2 of the NBA play-in tournament. It is Eastern Conference time, and like I just mentioned, a 2-0 start to the playoffs. We will take it. We'll recap that here in just a little bit. Just a reminder, be sure to check out the MLB Best Bets video for Wednesday as we give you a ton of research help and our best bets at the end. But I'm ready to get right into it because we got some games to talk about. We're going to break down the matchups, give you some best bets and all that kind of stuff. But first, I start with a dad joke, and this one is bad. All right, here we go. What has 5 toes but isn't your foot? My foot. That's such a dad joke. All right. Anyways, in this video, we're going to recap the 2 bets yesterday, and then we're going to preview and give out our best bet for the Heat 76ers, and then the same for the Hawks and Chicago Bulls. Hopefully, we can get some more winners and keep the hot streak rolling. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, leave a comment below. You guys have been doing it every day. We appreciate it as we are now on our way to 24,000 subscribers. So if you are new, hit that subscribe button, join the Jabbo community. It is awesome. So anyways, that's all I got. Let's get into the bets recap. All right, there it is. The first one was a sweat. Austin Reeves over 14.5 points. He was not aggressive at all in the first half. Ended with 5 points at halftime, and then he came out shooting the ball finally in the third quarter. He had 12 going into the fourth quarter. He hit a floater, and then we were under a minute left. He still had 14. If you watch the game, you already know what happened. We were talking about in the Discord, hey, he's one of their better free throw shooters. Maybe he'll get one at the end, and he did by getting fouled, and he went over, so that was a beauty. What are the Lakers doing in offense? I have no clue. Like, your offense in the entire fourth quarter should not be give it to LeBron and everyone just stand around and watch. It's not basketball. He was 6 of 20. He's still the man. LeBron is the king, but I mean, goodness gracious, move the ball. It was just ugly to watch, especially when you're an Austin Reeves better and he's standing in the corner. But that's not why it was bad to watch, just like from a basketball standpoint. But anyways, bet number 2 was an easy winner. Keegan Murray came out with his hair on fire. I mean, he was on a freaking roll. He had like 7 shots in the first 7 minutes or something like that. And he was a nice, easy cash early, mid, third quarter. So that was a nice winner. 2-0 start. As you can see, season record, we already went over. Now playoff record, 2-0, up 2 units to start the playoffs out. We got a long ways to go, but that's a good way to start. So that is the bets recap. And now it's time to talk some basketball. All right, this segment of the show is brought to you by our sponsor, Better Bet. That's BTR Bet, the best place to find, track, analyze, and share your bets. Check that link out in the description below. But bet number 1 and game number 1 takes us out to Philly. We got the 76ers hosting the Miami Heat. 76ers 5.5 point favorites in this one. Total in this game is 208. Before we get into the best bet, let's talk about the game real quick. Head-to-head, the series was split 2-2. But only one of those games was played with Embiid, and the 76ers won that one 109-105. But the Heat have a tough draw here. Let's be honest with you. The 76ers are not a true 7 seed. They're only here because Embiid was hurt, but now he is back. So I do feel bad for the Miami Heat a little bit, but not really. 76ers 10-1 in the last 11 games against the spread. They've been red hot. 6-0 straight up and against the spread with Embiid on the court since he came back. They've been a different team. Not a shocker. Embiid is one of the best players on planet Earth. But with Embiid on the court, the 76ers have outscored their opponents by 9 points per game per 100 possessions. That's pretty impressive. Last 15 games, the Heat are going in the opposite directions. 5-10 in the last 15 games. Sorry, this is versus current playoff teams. So when they play those good playoff teams, they struggle. They're 5-10. And we know also Terry Rozier will be out for this game. So but let's just talk in the last 15 games overall. The Miami Heat, they've done well defensively. That's their calling card. That's what they're known for. They have held their opponents to the lowest three-point percentage in the NBA at 31.9%. They've allowed the third fewest points in the paint in the last 15 games at only 44.9. They pack the paint. The issue for the Heat, obviously, is what it always is their offense. Can they pick it up because it's playoff time like they usually do? But this is now a team that relies more on threes as opposed to scoring in the paint. In the last 15 games, only 41.1% of their points have come from in the paint. That's the 6th fewest in the NBA. 36.9% of their points are now coming from deep in the last 15 games. That's actually the 10th most in the NBA. So obviously, Rozier is out as well, though. 76ers, much different team with Embiid on the floor. Obviously, last 6 games, Here's what they've done with Embiid. They are the number one defensive rating in the NBA. They are allowing the seventh fewest points in the paint. One area that they have been lacking or leaking a little bit is the transition. They've given up the fifth most fast break points, but the Heat are not exactly a team that relies on fast break points. They're about average to slightly below average, so I don't think they're going to take advantage of that much. But I mean, this 76ers team has been just dynamite since Embiid came back. So these are two defenses playing at an elite level, hence the low total that you see. But pace-wise, Heat play at a bottom three pace. 76ers ninth fastest pace with Embiid back. So they like to play a little differently, obviously, but we'll see what takes over. I don't have a bet on the side. If I did, it'd probably be the 76ers. I just think they're a better team. -5.5. I get it. It's the Miami Heat. It's the playoffs. But I think the dangerous team here in the East is the 76ers. Can they win it all? I don't know. But can they beat the Miami Heat in a one-game playoff? I absolutely think they do. Embiid is just something else right now. But my best bet, it's not on Joel Embiid, which you're probably going to see a lot of. It is Mr. Tyrese Maxey. Over 29.5 points plus assists at -120 on DraftKings. So let's talk about this one. So we know Embiid is back, but I think it's baked in the line here. So Tyrese Maxey averaging 25.6 points and 6.8 assists this season with Embiid in the lineup. I'll do the math for you. That's right. Just did it. 32.4 PA. So he's averaging 32.4. We're getting a 29.5 line. So all I need is 30 here. Obviously, if you watch the 76ers play, Maxey will get some easy assists because of Mr. Embiid. That's going to help out there. In his last game versus the Heat on April 4th, he scored 37 points and had 11 dimes flying over this. Joel Embiid was on the court during that one. He actually went over this line in 3 of 4 games versus the Heat. And when I say over, I mean he went well over. 37 plus PAs in those 3 games that he went over. It wasn't even close. Now they have a line at 29.5. If you know the Heat, you know Eric Spoelstra is kind of like Bill Belichick and the Patriots. He likes to take the best player of their opponent away. So that would be Joel Embiid, obviously. And I think that's going to leave some opportunities like for Maxey, like we've seen in 3 of the 4 games already. But I think we're getting a nice discount here just because Embiid is back. I don't think it means his line is going to go down a lot. He's still going to play huge minutes. He's still going to take a ton of shots. And I know the Heat are a little bit slower, defensive team, things like that, but they don't really scare me. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, we're talking Caleb Martin, Tyler Hero. They don't really have guys that can keep up with Tyrese Maxey and his speed, especially when he gets going. He is one quick bugger, that's for sure. But I'm expecting 35-plus minutes from Maxey here. Like I always mention, it's the playoffs. The rotations get tighter. The starters get more minutes, which only helps this line, which is already below his average with Embiid on the court. So he's taken 20-plus shots in 6 straight games where he has played 29 or more minutes. I'll say that again. Might be confusing. In the last 6 games, he's played 29 or more minutes, which he will go over 29 minutes, that's for sure. He's taken 20 or more shots. If we get 20 or more shots, I love my chances. I'm expecting 35 to 40 minutes out of Maxey if it's a competitive game. So all I need for him to do is really have a decent night, hit his season average in a matchup that he has proven that he can go over. He's already done it, and I mean well over in 3 of the 4 games. So give me Tyrese Maxey over 29.5 points plus assists at -120 as my first best bet. I know some of your comments sometimes say this guy is just trying to, convince you to take his bet. When I make a bet, you should be this confident when you make a bet. It doesn't mean it's a lock or anything like that, but I did just want to point that out. This is just my opinion, all the research I did. I'm excited to talk about it and why I love it. It doesn't mean you should definitely go follow me and tail it. Obviously, do your own research and everything, but I just want to point that out because some people in the comments think I'm trying to convince people and all that. I'm just telling you my opinions and what I like. So anyways, that's bet number 1. Let's move on to game number 2. All right, before we get into game number 2, we got a new promotion to talk about with FanDuel this time. That's right, bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly after your first $5 bet. I mean, guys, it is a no-brainer. If you are in an eligible state, go take advantage of this promo. It is definitely on for a limited time only. You just go sign up by using that link below in the description. Go to FanDuel, click the link, sign up, and then go place your first bet and get those bonus bets. So that's what we got for the promotion today. Of course, you must be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, back to the bets. All right, this second one takes us out to Chicago. We got the Bulls hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Bulls -3. Total in this game is 221. Head-to-head this season, Bulls won 2 of the 3 matchups this season. The only game that the Hawks won was when Trae Young was actually out. So make that make sense. But anyway, some notes on this series or this game. Two teams that are going absolutely nowhere. Let's just face it. Bulls 5-5 last 10 games. Hawks 3-7 in the last 10, and coming in on a nice 6-game losing streak. Only in the NBA can you be 36-46 and still playing basketball after the regular season. It's bonkers to me. Just too many teams. It's just crazy. This team does not deserve to be playing for anything right now. Offensive rating last 15 games. Bulls 8th best. How about that? Hawks 18th best in offensive rating. Defensively, it has not been pretty. Bulls 20th. Hawks are 26th defensive rating last 15. The Hawks are just a bad team, and the Bulls are just not much better. Let's face it. Pace last 15 games. Bulls have played at the 10th slowest pace. Hawks have played at the 10th fastest pace. Another game where we got two different teams who like to play different styles. But it's an interesting matchup on the glass because the Hawks have allowed the second fewest second chance points to their opponents in the last 15 days. And the Bulls are a top 10 team in offensive rebound percentage. So we're going to see what happens there in regards to are the Bulls going to be able to get on the glass, get some second chance points, make it a little easier for themselves. But the Bulls are dead last in the percentage of their points coming from the three-point line last 15 games. That's right. They do not score many points from deep. No surprise here because we all know they love to score in the paint. They have the third highest percentage from mid-range. Helps when you have DeMar DeRozan just taking a ton of mid-range shots. Fifth highest percentage of points in the paint. So it's mid-range and in the paint for the Bulls. Last 15, Hawks have allowed the 21st in paint points allowed in the last 15 games. You know, I think the Bulls can get to the rim here. I think they're going to be able to score a little bit. In the three matchups combined, the Bulls outscored the Hawks in the paint 174-148. So they did have an edge. Not huge, but, you know, that's still a decent edge. They did outscore them in all three games, I believe, in the paint. So anyways, just want to point out some stats there. If I had to play a side, who cares? Honestly, these are just two teams you cannot trust. I don't mean who cares, but it's just hard. You don't know what you're going to get day in and day out from these two teams. So I'm going to stick to a player prop, and I like this bet. Give me Trae Young over 10.5 assists as my second best bet at -108 on DraftKings. We know Trae Young is an absolute assist machine. He's averaged the most potential assists in the NBA. That's right. Not one person in the entire league averaged more potential assists than him at 18.2. And he turned that in to 10.8 assists on the entire season. I mean, in his last three games since return from injury, he's averaged 15.7. So you think, okay, his potential assists have gone down, but that's because he played 20 minutes, then 27, then 31. He was building it up. I mean, this is a do or die game right now, guys. I expect a full go. I expect 35 plus minutes from Trae Young, assuming it's competitive. And even if it's not, I mean, it's a do or die game. He should be on the court. But now, speaking of the Bulls are just not very good in limiting assists, that's for sure. He played them twice this year. He had 14 and 13 dimes. We just need 11 here. The Bulls, if you watch them, they're a team that tends to give up a lot of opportunities to the point guard position. They gave up the 8th most assists to the point guards over the course of the season. If you watch them play, I mean, they attack the point guard off pick and rolls. They just want to make sure that the point guard is not the one attacking and scoring. And you'll see a correlation because they actually give up very little points. They have allowed the 4th fewest points to the point guard, but the 8th most assists. We've had matchups like that this season where we've given out player props where they know how to shut down a point guard in regards to scoring, but it's because they're overhelping, because they're attacking him off pick and rolls. There's going to be shooters open. There's going to be guys open. As you already saw, he had 13 and 14 dimes against them. It's just an absolute great matchup. Obviously, more potential assists than anybody in the NBA. What else can I say? So I expect huge minutes, tight playoff game. Give me Trae Young over 10.5 assists for the third straight time against the Chicago Bulls. And those are my two best bets. Let's see if we can make it another 2-0 mini sweep and go 4-0 in the play-in games to start the season or the playoff season. But that's what we got. Let's check out the bets recap. All right, we got Tyrese Maxey over 29.5 points plus assists at -120. And then Trae Young over 10.5 dimes at -108. Those are the two best bets. There's always a chance I still add a third bet for the two games. You never know, but I got to really like it because, you know, 3 bets with 2 games is probably not the best idea. But anyways, let's see if we can make it another mini sweep. Thank you guys for watching. Again, go check out that MLB Best Bets video. Appreciate all the support. Enjoy some more basketball. Enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.